this is a semi-final for Nexus Gaming Series. This is division, which division? A or B? Okay. Okay. So the winner of this match will go on to face Ready Button. So I'm gonna get this cast up and running. So we are streaming live at the moment. But I'm ready. So give us just one bit to get this going. We'll be right back. Oh, that's not what I want. Rip. Yeah, I'm ready. Oops. Get this all up on the medias of social. All right. Let's see. We'll be right back here. Gonna make sure that our Insomniacs and in and Vision B semis. I love that I'm doing this live on stream. Somewhat haphazard. Bear with us, everyone. We'll be right back. And we're back. Insomniacs versus Zul'jin and Juice on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Matt Baines were Abraxas Holdout and Cursed Hollow. Correct? So will be I should probably put the right screen up. There we go. It will be Insomniacs grabbing the first pick. But Division B semifinals, so this is the penultimate game. The winner moves on to face the number 2 seed Ready Button, of which, Rory, you're somewhat intimately familiar with. Yeah, so we are seeing the Anubarak ban. Not one I see a lot in Div C, but that's because there's probably only two teams whose Anubarak is respectable. Diablo ban, that seems like a target. That was really quick. That was planned. It seemed like they were going to ban Diablo regardless what happened. Going back to the regular season between these two teams, in the fourth week, Zul'jin and Juice Insomniacs met. It was a 2-0 for Zul'jin and Juice. Do you think we'll see that again? Now, looking at the results from the season, Zul'jin and Juice has actually only lost a single map, and that was to Lurk Patrol. But we'll see if Insomniacs can be the second team to take a map off then, as we see a first pick Kael'thas. An interesting pick on this map, certainly an understandable one. He's got exceptional wave clear. He's going to be able to just punish, those narrow spaces around the shrines if you try to take an engagement there without being able to spread out. So we'll see how much value that gets. An interesting first pick, though. Versus Zul'jin and Yep. So Garrosh Ariel did receive some nerfs a bit ago, but I played her last night in a semifinal game. Granted, that was Div Clown, but nonetheless, still feels very powerful in the right situations. Into the KT, it's an interesting pick though, because with Ariel you want to be able to stack up, and with KT you want the enemy team to be able to stack up. So we'll see where that goes. But the stun potential flip into a bad position with the Ariel follow up. That's going to be pretty good blow up chance. So we'll see if they're able to work that. And I'm gonna have to apologize. I made a mistake. I did not because I was kind of doing this haphazard. I forgot to switch Rory your voice to the right sound channel. So I've just done that. So hi Rory, how are you doing?
Hi, how's it going? We definitely haven't been talking this whole time. That was not a mistake made.
Yeah, totally not a mistake that I just made. I just really like talking to myself with really awkward long pauses for no clear reason. So we do see the Muradin Leoric. Talk about a front line. But gonna be a big front line. I think it then tries to push, or if I'm Insomniacs or Zul'jin and Juice, excuse me, I want to try to look for a something like a Lunara that can get percent damage. Maybe even a Mathael. A Mathael could be a good battery here.
Yeah, I like the double front line here as the pickup to play into that KT because you get Muradin who's able to get a good stun, Leoric who's going to get some percentage based damage with his grasp, and then you've got KT who's going to add a lot of blow up. So it's a good CC train, but at the same point you also have a lot less danger in the front line because Garrosh isn't going to be able to do much to get past Leoric and Muradin together, and so those are going to be his only two flip targets, and those two can get away pretty simply. So look for you know some sort of like a heavy engage tool to really bully Muradin and Leoric back. And like you said, Malthael's a great choice for that. And I think that it would be wise to actually ban him out at this point.
And there's the Rhaegar ban. Rhaegar just pairs so well with both Leoric and Muradin, both with quite a bit of self-sustain. So if they get that Ancestral, that's probably the last heal they need in the fight. But it's also just, big health pools, guys that are hard to finish with their ability to escape, and Ancestral is going to let them get back in. On the other side, the task ban, so potentially trying to avoid that holy trinity of Vala, Tass, Ariel. Although, really, anymore with Ariel, you don't need someone as DPS intensive as Vala. You still need someone good. Like, you can't build Vala with, like, a 3-warrior and a Thrall comp. Like, it's not going to work that way. But, even heroes that were typically somewhat less reliable, maybe, like Mathael, can still be decent now. Provided they're able to get their poke out.
Malthael with Tormented Souls is... I mean, that's like 3 batteries right there. You get 3 full bars of hope off of that if you're on cooldown every time. Yeah. So I like that choice. And Bling's doing a little bit of rapping down in the chat. We're not going to see that Malthael, however. It's going to be Zul and Greymane. So Zul, so strong at clearing the lanes. And then Greymane probably going to be the solo laner in the bot and just add so much damage potential on top of the CC train that's coming out of Zul'jin and Juice's draft at the moment.
And forgive me, everyone, I'm going to invade the screen a bit because this is how I have to turn off my YOLO mouse. Because I doubt you all want to see this big, hulking-ass red mouse on the screen. So it's gone. That was complaints I got in the last cast. So now returning you to your regular viewing experience. But Zul, Greymane, there's the root potential. That Mathael almost seems like a denial, but it's still a strong pick. Not huge health bars on the other side, but certainly with the ability to punish Garrosh with the percent damage. If he gets flipped, okay, we'll just hit W. Oh, look, he's fine. He's saved. So, I like that pick both as a way to punish the Garrosh and as just a denial pick.
Absolutely, and that's really a solid choice because it pairs so well with the Leoric. Malthael can solo lane really, really well against the Greymane. He does lose the lane ultimately, but it can be drawn out for a longer period of time, and he doesn't lose it very handedly. And then when you get Malthael and Leoric stacked up against the Garrosh, it kind of takes away Garrosh's trait almost because it doesn't count for that armor. It doesn't account for that with percentage-based damage. So ultimately, you're looking at still chunking his health pretty heavily, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of like a pseudo frontliner, a bruiser. We've still got, for instance, the Haka on the map available. So we need to see some sort of a pick that's going to allow for Zul'jin and Juice to be able to get in the back.
Oh. Getting a little bit of breakup from our communication with Rory. Hopefully we get that back online. Uther, always a strong pairing with Mathael. Let Mathael dive in, let him get low, bait out the enemy team, de-shield into Tormented Souls, and Mathael is full health again. And the Ariel pick. So, not any one battery. I think this is a really high skill pick. In terms of the Ariel, Ariel's going to have to be really smart about her W. Team's going to have to communicate their cooldowns to get the most value out of it. But, Zul'jin and Juice is at the top of the division for a reason. I think they'll be able to pull this off.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to see some sort of a bruiser pick out of Zul'jin and Juice, especially Sonya is such a heavy solo laner, and so Malthael still wins that lane against Sonya in the bottom lane, but it is even more drawn out than the Greymane pick. So ultimately, I like these choices from both teams to kind of counter out each other. I think the impact is going to be how well does Malthael and Leoric combine to make Garrosh and Sonya feel unsafe. Yeah, if they're able to do that well enough, then they're going to be able to win these team fights.
Yeah, it's interesting because both teams have a really strong double laner when they want to do that. Leoric and Zul are the 2 best in the game right now. Zul a little bit better on the wave clear, Leoric a little bit better on the mobility. Both teams have really strong initiating tanks, but maybe tanks that aren't the absolute best at peeling, although I think Muradin counters the Sonya quite well. Both teams are going to rely on their healer being able to make plays. This is just, it really comes down to, comp-wise, I think both teams are equal. I don't see anyone winning this draft. I think it just comes straight down to execution.
Absolutely.
So, you were wanting to introduce Insomniacs or Zul'jin?
I'll go ahead and take Zul'jin and Juice, and here we have Caesar Unaverted, on Oriole, Kurt Dog on Zul, Waldo playing Sonya, Burger on Garrosh, and Ben playing Greymane.
And then in the blue trunks, we're gonna have Insomniacs. That's keep in mind I'm reading these for the first time. So Crazy Ivan is gonna be on Mathael, Blings on the KT, Kaiser gonna be on Uther, Czar Salesman on the Muradin, and let's see if I can do this right, Turambar on Leoric. Apologies for all the butchering I just did there, but let's hope we get some good butchering here in this first team fight.
Absolutely.
And some Roll20 fans, and then some Pleb fans. And then Sylvanas Jiff. So,
I like it.
some Lucios in there. But, I gotta give, just because how good Roll20 is doing, and they have the Roll20 comp, gotta give the edge to Zul'jin and Juice. They won that war, and flipped the Leoric under the tower and forced the early Wraith block.
Yeah, definitely a very good amount of communication as well. But that's that unstoppable coming out from Leoric, and it's not going to be an easy flip target. Ultimately, though, it does force him to back away. And I want to just highlight Warbreaker was picked up, so going for a little bit more damage and allowing for his team to probably secure a little bit more kills. Zul doesn't have the best amount of damage until much later in the game, so that follow-up's going to be much easier to ascertain.
And not really seeing a 4-man rotation yet. Kind of seeing a 1-3-1. Huge flip onto Mathael. Gets pushed under the towers. Does Wraith strike out, but the Root's going to finish him off. And there's the 4-man. And Oriole with that full health, it's going to be like Zul'jin and Juice was never in a fight despite getting the kill. I do realize my sound is a bit loud, everyone. I will fix that as soon as I can. Let's see if I can get that working.
A great flip on the Czar Salesman as well, but that's a little bit too much damage done to Kurt Dog. He's having to back away and pop a straight. And that was a pretty nice amount of return damage out of Blings to just allow for Murden to be able to get out of there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, there's a collapse onto the bottom lane with the Leoric, and Leoric's going to go down. And already 2 kills over to Zul'jin and Juice. Fight up here. Garrosh does get the flip once again onto Mathael. Mathael going to be able to Wraith strike out of there. Second Q's a miss, so back to the rotation goes Insomniacs.
Yeah, a little bit of a gem lead over to Zul'jin and Juice as well as another collapse onto the bot lane. Turambar happened to back away. Waldo and Ben both really wanting to punish that Leoric solo lane, because if he's able to be bullied out of that lane, ultimately you're going to be able to win the game off of the back of just XP alone.
Yep. But Greymane rotating back up to mid, now rooting on the top. Flip onto Muradin. But no real high impact damage yet. KT rotated to mid while this fight goes on up here. So 4v3 advantage for the time being. And actually managed to come in, and Zul'jin and Juice actually wins that wave. And still looking for the pick, but definitely has a chance to rotate down and get ahead in the rotation. Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. Sonya is just winning this lane so hard. Turambar very low on health despite landing his W. Drain Hope trying to keep him alive, but he's going to have to back off while this fight still goes on. Zul'jin and Juice still a little bit ahead in the rotation, although KT does rotate up, get a bit of that soak. But already a little bit more than a half a level lead, about a 2/3 of a level lead to Zul'jin.
Yeah, I do want to just highlight Uther hasn't picked a level 4 talent as of yet, and that's a little bit, I don't want to say suspicious, but I think we're just trying to see what level 7 talents are going to be picked up out of Zul'jin and Juice. Has a great flip and root combo comes down onto Blings, and he gets eliminated from the game. 10 gems on the floor are not going to be able to be picked up, and a good chance that this is going to be our first turn in here.
Yeah, not seeing a level 4, maybe thinking about whether he wants to just get that little bit of extra damage with the Holy Fire, or if he is indeed going to try to maybe make some plays with the Q damage or the E speed. But, you know, at a certain point, you just I don't know if either of them are so impactful against a level 7 as to be worth holding this long.
Yeah, and I want to just say real quickly, Blings, having died a little bit earlier on that KT, did reset his convection stacks entirely. He was at 10, so halfway there, and now he is once again at the 0. But he's going to get 2 there as they are defending the top wave. But these towers are going to go down pretty quickly. At this point, though, I don't know if there's going to be much to be done beyond that, but we do have Zul'jin and Juice having that 7 advantage, is going to get in the middle of things and try to shake it up.
And Ariel has full hope and really just has not healed yet this fight. Hasn't had a need to, despite all the damage coming out onto Muradin. And just not getting any kind of counter poke here. They'll save the fort, but still this 3v3, and actually there's the flip onto Muradin, and now Muradin jumps out, gets the heal from Uther. Little bit of a chase, but Kurt Dog was there. And meanwhile, Sonya's saying, hello, I will just simply walk in and take this fort. Mish drain hope too, so no real punishment coming in. But there is a heavy rotation. Is Muradin going to be able to get the stun? And is there enough follow? Stormbolt missed. Uther does have the hammer adjust this point and click, but doesn't get there in time. And 2 missed abilities that really could have put the kibosh on that Sonya. And meanwhile, responding to that rotation, great macro decision by Zul'jin and Juice saying, hey, while they're overreacting, let's take a fort.
Absolutely, and that was going to secure them level 10s as well. Waldo's going to have to jump out. He has selected leave, so he's got that escape button. But here we got a couple of sneezes in the background, as well as a great collapse onto the bottom lane. Kaiser caught out. Those mages coming down, and Taunt is going to land as well.
So much self-healing. Oh, man. So much self-healing from the Whirlwind. And this fight's not over yet. Sonya just debated the team into an overcommitment, and the rotation came down hard. Uther goes down. Leap, or no, that was a throw. That was not a leap. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult to keep track of.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to do audio cues from now, because that was a great throw by Burger, but it wasn't quite far enough. You know, he's got to work on that arm a little bit.
Yeah, and here comes the invade. No real chance to respond unless they get a pretty heavy rotation in. But this camp already going over. KT says, you know, here, I'll help you out. Throws in a couple flame strikes. He was looking, of course, for stacks, but you know, already just a dominant performance by Zul'jin and Juice. Already 3-level lead, Neri. So they once again get Blings and reset him again, and they're going to take mid-fort. Just so much aggression, and it's all paying off right now for Zul'jin and Juice.
Absolutely. Now, the turn-in is going to go the way of Insomniacs, and I just want to say real quick, that's kind of one of the cool things about the stacks for KT is even though he died, the Flame Strike actually hit afterwards, so he's going to come back with 2 stacks still available.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Reaper's Mark only at 28 stacks so far, and that's something that if they're not going to finish that quest, it's really going to hurt them. You know, Mathael really wants that extra time, especially by the time he hits level 16, assuming this game even goes that far at this rate. But needing that extra time just to be able to give him options, give him more people to life soak off of, giving him that guaranteed damage with the level 16. But, you know, almost no stack so far. No real chance for him to engage safely. As Zul'jin and Juice are just seemingly going wherever they want, doing whatever they want, and, you know, fuck what Insomniacs wants to say about it.
Yeah, now I do have Reaper's Mark having been picked up, as well as we got a big collapse with the with the Entomb coming out. Zarsail's been taking a ton of damage. Burger's taking a ton of damage as well. He's gonna have to back away. Turnbar with a huge drain life, but Waldo's just wreaking havoc in the back line, as well as Kurt Dog on that Zul. And
great, and
gonna be
great Aegis.
Mergen going down. Zarsail's been just a little bit too unavoidable there, and Turnbar gonna shortly follow as well.
And Ariel just didn't keep everyone high on health, but she kept everyone alive. Great play by the Ariel, despite what was actually a good start to the engagement by Insomniacs. They definitely got a lot of health bars low on the side of Zul'jin and Juice, but Ariel just absolutely doing work. Kudos to Unaverted there.
Absolutely, and I think that really came down to just timing on a lot of the ults that were coming out. We had a great Entomb that set up for a really, really strong push, but we really didn't have KT in a strong position to get all those abilities out while Entomb was still available. And by the time it dissipated, we had so much damage being done to Czar Salesman and Turambar that they just couldn't stay up in the front line anymore. And it didn't really allow for Malthael to get a whole lot of, Tormented Souls value. He is up to 89 stacks, however, so a bit closer to that goal.
Yeah, we'll see what can happen here as there's a spider pushing top. And already some good damage going down onto those towers. Probably won't be up much longer. And Spider's still rather healthy. But 5v5, Poke coming back and forth. Nobody really getting a huge advantage here. But so long as that Spider's up, this is a chance for Zul'jin and Juice to do that. Flip onto Muradin. He's going to jump out, but there's the root. Leoric hits the Entomb, but gets turned on. Malthael doing everything he can. Tons of dots out. Definitely self-sustaining like crazy, but this is a 3v5, and now it's not a question of where do you get kills. The question is, how do you stay alive? Low health. Ariel, not really any hope. But there's the flip onto KT. That is one dead Fire Mage. And I should be saying Kale, shouldn't I?
That's all right. But, I mean, that's going to ultimately be 2 additional kills as Kaiser's going to be caught out as well, trying to save Blings. And this is going to be top keep going down at 11 minutes exactly. Definitely a very, very strong presence in that top lane. And that's going to be Catapults pushing for the rest of the game.
Oops. Sorry about that. All right.
And we do have a boss being activated here up in the top lane. 16's on the horizon. It looks like 16's might even be hit before INSOMNIACS are able to pick up their level 13 talents. And this is also going to open the window for another turn-in to happen off the back of this, as Zul'jin and Juice are looking to paint the map red.
Yeah, Zul'jin and Juice looking very, very strong so far. I don't know if it's... I mean, you don't have level 13, so you can't really contest that boss even if you know it's coming. Trying to just get their bruisers in the lane just to generate some counter pressure, but that boss going to be going straight to core. It's still only an 11-minute boss, so actually they might be waiting for 12 minutes just to get that extra little bit of power spike.
And I actually love this because this is going to push the Web Weavers up further than where the boss is going to come in and allow for the Web Weavers to push alongside the boss. And that is such a great amount of macro play that is kind of coming in, or sorry, micro play that's going to be coming in, that is going to have so much pressure on the core already with catapults. It's going to be hard to really muster any sort of strong defense here for INSOMNIACS. And fighting down 13 to 16, it's really a kind of the pivotal point. If they don't defend this, this is going to be game for them.
And something of a panic cleanse blown on Malthael when he wasn't really in a lot of trouble there. Leoric, on the other hand, is about to drop the Greymane. Boss is on the core, just so much sustain. Sonya backing up a bit just to give Ariel time. Already, though, 2 deaths on the side of INSOMNIACS. And this is almost certainly going to be GG. Sonya with the cheeky leap onto the KT, but actually going to be kept alive by Ariel and trade out against the Muradin. Muradin actually approaching the Sonya kept her alive with the Whirlwind, but what an absolutely dominant showing by Zul'jin and Juice on that map.
Just perfect communication coming out from everybody, just showing when that CC was going to come in and understanding when you needed to collapse, when you needed to spread out to spread that damage. And I mean, I got to give it up for Unaverted, because his amount of healing in that short of a game, 62,000 healing, his Ariel is just insane at this point. And I mean, that's hard to hit on any healer, but with the amount that he's able to put out with this kind of comp where you don't have one of those normal batteries, it was crazy. And no kills actually on their team as well. So, huge hats off to Unaverted.
So if you want to start getting that lobby set up, I'm just going to keep the scoreboard up on stream for a bit. I just want to highlight, like, how do you come back after a game with no kills where you really got dominated? I say this because, it hasn't happened to us in Clown Division, but it is difficult when you are down in a best of 3 and you really, I mean, I hate to say it, you did not have a pulse in the first game. Um, it's gonna take really big mental fortitude for Insomniacs to come back and make a show of it. Obviously, Zul'jin and Juice seems to just be a really coordinated and strong team. They've only lost a map in the entirety of this season in Division B, so clearly a team that's gonna make the move up to Division A and probably even immediately compete there. Very strong showing by them. But we'll get the next lobby set up and we'll be right back. All right, we're back setting up now for Infernal Shrine. So just an absolute dominant showing by Zul'jin and Juice. Let me update their score here while we talk about this. But how do you even begin to tackle this behemoth if you're Insomniacs?
Well, I mean, first you just need to get kills. You need to rotate to be able to get early picks. You need to stay in the game in terms of XP. And in that last match, they just got so out rotated that it resulted in such a really strong XP lead that any sort of fight that they took, Unaverted was able to heal through the damage that they could put out just because of how Oriel scales against a lot of these other damage dealers. And so ultimately, while you have percentage based damage like Malthael, who is going to deal percentage based damage no matter what, you're still going to be lacking some of that ability to come back. And ultimately, in this game, if you're wanting to come back and you're Insomniacs in this particular matchup, you just got to be able to get kills. And I think we're going to see a much stronger showing out of them on this map. This is a map that they enjoy very, very much. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of tricks they have up their sleeve to try to extend this out to map number 3.
Now the question is, do they look at a respect ban on the Garrosh, or do they look at a respect ban on Ariel, or do they maybe go back to, look, we just don't know how to handle a Nubarak, or we don't have a comp that handles a Nubarak well. Interested to see what their ban is. Infernal Shrine's a map in some ways very similar to Tombs, but ultimately just so different. Camps play a lot bigger role, and there is the respect ban on the Garrosh. Camps play a much larger role on this map, but it still involves an objective pushing down the lane. You still tend to get a lot of those, big potential team fights over the objective space. Ultimately, if this game comes down to 5v5 team fights, you gotta give, obviously, a big lead to Zul'jin and Juice. And maybe they respect that. But Zul'jin and Juice just not wanting to deal at all with that Diablo.
Yeah, and that again is just out of respect. They understand his strengths and know that Insomniacs like to run it. So I'm not at all surprised that they're just outright taking it out of the game. And
Yep.
the hot pick. I like this. Strong solo laner, great global presence as well. And with a good amount of CC with his tongue, he's also going to be able to get some value and potentially getting some picks.
Yeah, it's something to address their soak in the last games. It is something.
Especially because Dahaka made it pretty late into the draft. He wasn't ever picked up or banned in the last match, and so you had other options than Leoric. I'm not sure what was meant to be accomplished by a Leoric over something like a Dahaka, who is going to gain a little bit more value in terms of getting those first kills. Because once you get that first kill, you're able to snowball off the back of it, because Ariel then has less targets to be able to heal, less targets to be able to generate hope for her, and you're able to get a little bit more ground to make up as well and potentially collapse. So Dahaka, I think, plays a little bit more into that strong suit, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of a life force out of Insomniacs this particular game.
And already though, with the Uther Mathael, I mean that's a lot of potential to win fights over the shrines. There's like with Tormented Souls on this map over a shrine, he's gonna not just be leeching off the heroes, he's gonna leech off the minions. Mathael's gonna basically be impossible to kill. And so now you need to respond with how do you deal with the Mathael now? And part of me wants to see an Anub'arak here with just the cocoon, but then again, D-Shield, of course, blocks cocoon. But instead, we're going into a Vala, trying to just get damage out. And let's see what that third pick is.
I like Zul'jin and Juice picking up Malthael and Uther this particular matchup because Insomniacs played it last map, and it almost did net them a few kills, and it almost made them get to a position where they could come back. However, it wasn't played extraordinarily well. There was some missed opportunities. However, Zul'jin and Juice are now like, all right, here, boys, let me show you how it's done. And so I like it. I like the kind of play that Zul'jin and Juice are bringing into this, pretty early in the draft in the second map.
Yep, well, we will, we'll see where that goes. Rhaegar coming in, the Rhaegar pick into the Mathael with Mathael's level 7 is troubling to me. With the Uther already taken, and the fact that you have a Vala, I still think Ariel is a good pick. You have the Aegis to deal with someone if they do get that, Reaper's Mark reduced healing. But we'll see. I think Ancestral is going to have a hard time getting value. There's the Tassadar ban. I like the ban quite a bit. But now let's see what Insomniacs doesn't want to deal with. Is it something from the last game? Or are they going to sniff something out? They are going to ban the Sonya, and they don't want to deal with that again. Looks like that they're worried just about Sonya's ability to win the solo lane. And forgive all the Facebook pop-ups there.
And I think that was more out of respect for Waldo. They understand that he plays Sonya a lot, and he's done so to great effect in this entire league. And up until this point, he's got a 100% win rate on the hero of this particular league. So I have no doubt that was 100% out of respect for Waldo, and that was a very solid choice, I think.
Yeah, and there's Greymane, just always a strong healer or hero. Wow, I'm tired. Maybe that's the beer kicking in. Greymane pairs well with Uther, pairs well with Anub'arak, pairs well with Mathael. They look like they're about to dive in and blow a motherfucker up.
Yeah, and that's something that Rhaegar is going to have trouble being able to deal with, especially with that healing reduction from Malthael. So, I mean, with the amount of blow potential, you need to have something to stop that. And I'm sensing a Tyrael here. I think Tyrael is probably the best option. Sanctification can completely put an end to all of the damage that Zul'jin and Juice have, and then allow for them to turn it on the fight, because those cooldowns are a long amount of time. So I think that's really the only choice here. You got to grab one heavy damage dealer and then Tyrael.
Yeah. Well, you need to grab a heavy damage dealer, but you also need to grab someone who's safe. You don't want two squishies. It's already a Protect the Vala comp. Instead, they're going to look at the Mighty Gust as a way to disengage, and the Arthas as just a way to, you know, if you slow down Mathail's attack speed, I mean, it's already, what, bi-weekly, I believe, is attack speed. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, something like that.
It is pretty slow. Trying to slow it down more. Normally, with his default attack speed, he can auto attack 3 Reaper's marks up at a time. You can slow that down to about, you know, an average of 2.5. But it's a reasonable HP target for Mathail to drain off of with his Q. Curse Bullet just punishes the hell out of Arthas. And then you have the Uther, so if you land a root, you're potentially giving everyone in the root 50 armor. Maybe I'm just being biased because of the last game I saw. I don't like those 2 picks.
Yeah, I like the Falstad. The getting Boomerang at level 7 is a good enough amount of kill potential for them to turn fights. Gust is also a great save, but I don't agree with the Arthas at this point. I think Tyrael would have been much better suited, just for the amount of engagement that it allows after that burst of damage comes out of Zul'jin and Juice, because you're not going to be able to get any kills if you just gust them away. And the whole point of being able to come back in this is you need to be able to get kills, period. And right now they're just building to survive the damage that Zul'jin and Zeus are bringing, and then not be able to do anything with it. And so ultimately, they need to be able to turn fights, get some picks, and allow for some sort of comeback to be netted.
Yeah, Zul'jin and Juice with just such an incredibly aggressive draft here. The Mighty Gust is going to have to absolutely be on point. For those in chat, forgive me. I am from West Virginia, so a lot of my friends are pretty hardcore libertarians. But that was the Facebook messages I was talking about. So with that, there's so many reasons I don't like the Arthas pick. I don't know. I mean, they have the double global. Arthas is hard to kill early, so it's going to give the chance for the double global to get a lot of soak so they don't get behind an XP. But I think they have to hit level 10s first. They have to win that shrine, and they have to get a lot of value off of it to have a chance in this game. But with that, we will jump into the draft. I'm getting just there's more messages than I've ever gotten in my life, but if you want to introduce Zul'jin and Juice for me, Rory?
Absolutely. So we have Ben on the Greymane. Burger taking it in again on those tanks, and that's a Nubrak. Malthael is going to be handled by Kurt Dog. Unaverted bringing it in on the supports. That's Uther and Waldo. Taking them down on Lunara.
And Czar Salesman going to be on the Arthas, Turambar on Dahaka, Crazy Ivan on Vala, Kaiser going to be on the Rhaegar, and Blings switching over to Falstad. We are seeing a Seasoned Marksman build and an Enhanced Agility build, so definitely going for the split soak on those globals. Kind of positioning, thinking about doing an invade, maybe. They do. Falstad was wondering what was in that bush, and he found out. He's potentially going to stay alive. Cocktail almost connects, but he will survive with about 3 HP. But not a good.
That was an insane.
Yeah, not a good position for Blings to be in. We are seeing Dahaka rotating down, but beat to the bottom by that Greymane. Vala, for the time being, going to have to lane against that Mathael. And a huge collapse onto Dahaka. And he did not last long. And then Blings almost gets caught out by the Uther stun. Not enough follow-up. Rhaegar sitting in the bush in the top. Maybe there was a call for a pick, but Arthas still having to soak that mid because of the deaths. And not going to be really a chance to kill Mathael here as Rhaegar rotates back down to mid.
Yeah, I love that amount of coordination, understanding where the Dahaka is going to be playing at. And it's normal that you see Dahaka up in the top lane, but this particular matchup, we saw him moving down to the bot and just gets collapsed upon, being a little too aggressive in that lane.
But let me just look at the... I mean, for lack of a better description, just the disrespect of Zul'jin and Juice to just say, like, oh yeah, you're on your side of the map, that's fine. We'll still come in, we'll still poke you. I hit a button on the side of my mouse again. But really just not giving any breathing room over to Insomniacs. And already, Insomniacs not really able to poke into this shrine.
Yeah, we had Crazy Ivan and Blings a little bit late on the rotations, and they were slowed down even more by Kurt Dog on that Malthael. And they moved in now, but good communication by Zul'jin and Juice to back away. And now we have all 5 on the shrine as well.
Level 4s for both teams as a root connects onto Greymane, but Arthas, very low. Stun comes in. Here comes the blow-up combo. That is one dead Lich Lord.
Yeah, just, again, the communication of this team is insane. These players play together so often, and outside of practice even, they're always playing together and practicing those combinations, and their communication of knowing when certain bits of CC are going to go out, it allows them to, even though they only have 2 hard forms of CC, get a huge amount of damage out within that small window of time. And I mean, we say it's a great effect there.
Yeah, and Mortar Punisher, so really the weakest of the 3. So we are seeing a heavy emphasis on Split Soak. Mathael went top, and Uberak went mid. You know, just trying to maintain that XP lead. And Mathael just really pooping on Dahaka in that lane. Dahaka gonna have to back off. And taking the neutral camp is Insomniacs, just trying to get some kind of pressure to just alleviate this absolute blitz that's coming on every single rotation. And found a Uberak, but no real way to punish him. Thought about the camp and saw Arthas out of position. What an absolute killer instinct by Zul'jin and Juice. I mean, my goodness.
That was an insane burrow by Burger. I'm sorry, I have to stick to tradition. Burger's name is actually Turtle. So we have to refer to him as Turtle from now on. And he's already on a Uberak, so we can call him Turtle because it looks like a turtle anyway.
No, but just the awareness to, like, hey guys, let's take this camp. Nah, never mind, let's kill Arthas. And there's no hesitation. I mean, he attacks the camp and immediately burrows, catches Arthas out, and the whole team is there. They do manage to catch out Mathael. Erase strikes out. Is he going to be able to get away? All it's going to take is one Hammerang or a bite from Rhaegar, but the stun from a Uberak. And oh my goodness. The Lord of Death is also staying alive.
The amount of peel that Turtle's able to bring, man. That's a Uberak played well. Like, you want to know how to play a Uberak well. You keep your team alive and you let them take engagements that are otherwise extremely ballsy. Yeah,
the Uberak play so far has just been... I mean, already in this game, I'm just amazed at how strong this Uberak play has been. But getting something of an early lead on Shrine, missed burrow charge there as Rhaegar's able to, you know, move his puppy legs on out of there, but... You know, that's going to give Shrine control over to Zul'jin and Juice. Already about halfway done with that quest. And an Uberak already positioning aggressively. Wait for it. There's the burrow charge out. Just stalling the team. Doing a good job doing it. Giving tons of good zoning. And now it's do or die time. And the engage is coming in as the Punisher's about to be picked up. I don't like this decision by Insomniacs. That they're trying to make something happen here. Uther, though, going to be the first to go down, but I just see so many members of Insomniacs falling. Rhaegar just not able to keep everyone up there. The question is, are they going to lose much more? Kaiser does rotate out. In comes the Punisher. Is there the follow-up onto that squishy Vala? Lunara's going to get tongued. Dahaka trying to stun the Lunara so Vala can get out, but pays for it with his life.
Yeah, that was just a really bad time to take an engagement by Insomniacs. The Punisher was up, and they're lucky that they didn't hit it at all because they would have jumped right on top of them and pursued, and they would have essentially had a 6th man for the side of Zul'jin and Juice in that engagement. And off of the back of this, they're going to get mid-fort down and then level 10s as well. And we've got Go for the Throat instead of that Cursed Bullet for Greymane, and I love this.
Yeah, and there's one positive to take out of that, which was they at least got the Punisher onto the keep wall, because level 10s got picked up right then and there by Zul'jin and Juice, but they couldn't really push with it because the Punisher was down. So small victories. It's just something to get them. Anubarak looking at just doing a stun and a little bit of a BM there, perhaps. But meanwhile, bottom fort going to be going down. Falstad not even attempting to clear this because he knows that there are 3 people there. Siege Camp comes out. Falstad getting a little bit brave. Greymane going to hit him with the cocktail. That's 1 more stack.
Yeah, he's only at 3, which is a little bit surprising, but I mean, it is pretty early in the game. Malthael already at 72 stacks, and at this point, last game, we had seen, I believe it was Crazy Ivan who was playing Malthael last game, correct?
That is... No, yes, that is correct, yes.
Yeah, at this point in the game, he was only at, I think, 30-something, so a little bit good, a little bit better prioritization of getting those stacks earlier, you know, pre-Tormented Souls era. But overall, everything pretty standard in terms of ults. We have Reign of Vengeance and in Taken 4, Crazy Ivan on the Vala, so looking for a little bit more CC out of not only the Arthas and the Dahaka, but also out of Vala as well.
And perhaps trying to take advantage of trying to get some value with the Army of the Dead. It's going to be up to Greymane to kind of disarm those with well-placed cocktails, but take out all those ghouls to deny Arthas the healing. We are seeing go for the throat instead of the curse bullet, so trying to just get onto those squishy backliners, Vala and Falstad, but right now it just seems like Insomniacs just sitting up here, poking out, trying to get to Haka time to grab that bot fort. You know, at this point, though, you look at this, and in fact, here comes the Dahaka Burrow. You definitely want a fight now before level 13's picked up. Good cocktail comes in. Dahaka gonna get just turned around on. Didn't have his adaptation pops. The self-healing wasn't there. And the Ancestral comes down onto Dahaka. Not the target you want it to land on. Burrow's coming in. Arthur's gonna get the cleanse, but it's not gonna be enough. What an excellent Divine Shield to keep Anubarak alive. Talk about finding the ant in the trees. Getting Anubarak de-shielded in a mass of bodies. That's just a precise click. And really good job.
Absolutely. All of that time unaverted is spent in the streets in the red light district definitely made his fingers very precise. So
I'm going to have to assume there's an inside joke there.
He's a whore. This is a rated R straight, right? No, unaverted is just so good on those supports though, and he's really good with his timing. So already showing once again on this particular map, Infernal Shrines, that he's not only good at timing on Ariel, but great at timing on Uther as well. So
and this fort is dead. Insomniac's just trying to see if they can find 13. Falstad doing everything he can to try to get that fort. Trying to just get 13 so they can maybe save their keep. Because this is an Arcane Punisher. He does not fuck about. But already, 5-man push onto this top wall. Side wall's broken out, looking for the aggressive plays. Stun on the Vala, gonna get a little bit of a late cleanse there. Meanwhile, Arthas gonna shake hands with John Cena.
I love the amount of damage they got on the wall while John Cena was clearing up the fort as well. That's just really, really strong positioning and understanding how much time you had to be able to pressure with the death timers that were coming out. So ultimately, John Cena in this particular era of him, the Arcane, was able to get
an aggressive Fly Gust potentially coming in. Unstoppable on the Mathael. Waited out a bit. In comes the Cocoon, though. Mathael just draining so much life. Dahaka is just, I don't know how he's taken this much damage this fast. The adaptation pops and he's back up. Anubarak re-engaging. Greymane, though, the first to die. Is this Insomniac's chance? They do get the kill onto the Anubarak. Kaiser still a bit low. Arthas, is he going to be able to self-sustain up? Getting dove on the back as Kaiser. Kurtdog going in aggressive. Keeps himself alive. Falstad goes down, but so does Mathael. Lunara trying to turn around. Gets the kill on the Rhaegar. But it's 4 for 5. And, or, sorry, 2 for 4. 4 for 5. 2 for 4. And I actually got the 2 backwards. That's why I said 5. And, Insomniac finally showing some signs of life here. But what do they do with this advantage? They need to get some value. They're still losing the race to 16. And a little bit of indecision. No real strong commitment. You saw Vala kind of look at the siege camp and then rotate up with Arthas to get the wall. But already, death timers are ending for Zul'jin and Juice. And with the low health Arthas, maybe an engage. Nope, it's not there. Not great decision, but you know, you're going to get 16s around the same time. This is a chance. This is Insomniac's chance to get back in this game.
Yeah, that was really just a missed opportunity on the Cocoon in that last engagement. But here's where we're going to see somebody try to make up for it. Blings getting collapse spawn's going to gust away. The Cocoon's already gone down. Zarcel's been trying his best to be able to help.
And Arthas kind of body blocking his own Rhaegar there. Need to let his Rhaegar get out, and both of them are going to die for it.
Oh, man, we need to cover the screen here. That is not safe for children, what happened in that little corner. Wow.
Fuck the children.
Was... Well, no, don't actually do that. Those were words meant for, you know, it's a saying, all right?
Hashtag Jared Fogle did nothing wrong. Anyway, I'm going to get banned by Twitch, boys. Let's make it happen. Wow, that was a good Cocoon. The Gust came out as a panic for Falstad to save himself. There's no tools to save Rhaegar. And then just Rhaegar and Arthas both really tripping each other up in that getaway. Allowed Greymane to get the body block in. Just a little bit of lack of coordination paired with the absolute killer instinct we're seeing from Zul'jin and Juice. And they're going to pick up this shrine just without even any contest.
You know, I've heard that on Dear Penthouse Forum. It was Dear Penthouse Forum. A group of men followed my wife and I into an alleyway. I don't want to talk about the rest. And a great Cocoon coming down on the shrine as well as Turambar's having to pop his adaptation and burrow away. 16s for both teams as invulnerabilities popped with that Yvonne shield onto Malthael. A huge amount of damage done, but not enough.
Malthael managed to keep himself alive for a while, but once those Tormented Souls fell off, he did go down. But the turnaround kill on Falstad, a cleanse trying to just let Arthas get the pursuit onto Lunara. They're chasing Lunara so hard, but don't get the kill. And now Lunara's back in with the Leaping Strike. Anubarak going to enable the kill onto Arthas, but there's the stun onto Anubarak. And in fact, Arthas going to stay alive just a little bit longer. John Cena going to finish off Arthas there, but it's already 3 kills for Insomniacs. And Kaiser with Rhaegar going for the Achilles tendon, ripping it out, and good dog, good dog.
And that, I mean, that's about as good as you could get it for Insomniacs with all 4 up. Aside from Arthas, that's going to be a pretty decent defense here. Kaiser getting caught out a little bit though by the minions. He's going to have to back away. And I mean, this like I said, it's about as good as you can get right now. You got your 2 damage dealers up to be able to clean up these sieges the John Cena as well as the catapults. And so this right now is kind of their turning point. They need to get these lanes pressured back out, allow for a little bit more pressure up in the top lane, especially with catapults pushing at all points, and potentially get another engagement pre-20 where you're able to get up another pick or 2. They need to get 20 first to really have a chance.
Well, but they're leading for the first time in this series. They're leading the race XP, discounting, you know, like pre-level 4, instant jockeying back and forth wave to wave. They actually have a lead, and now they're looking to make the aggressive play. Falstad going to potentially fly in. Rhaegar, though, diving in ahead of the team, and he goes down first. Arthas goes in, trying to self-sustain up. Burger using the Tormented Souls, but Anubarak's gonna drop next, but with no heals, the days of Insomniacs are numbered, or are they? They do manage to get the turnaround kill. Dahaka, small victories. Gonna get the siege camp, but I don't think that trade was worth.
No, it definitely wasn't, because that's a 5 for 2. And at this point, you've already got to keep down. This is going to be another keep if Zul'jin and Juice play this well. With those minions already pushed up, this is potentially... I mean, this is definitely keep wall, but this is potentially keep as well.
Yeah, Hunger of the Wolf taken by Rhaegar. But he was a little bit too hungry there because he was way the fuck out in front of his team. And was the first to drop. If he was alive and was able to get an Ancestral off, this is a potential big win once again for Insomniacs. But instead now, they're now getting 2 lanes pushed. But they get lucky. They get the coveted bottom shrine. They have to win this shrine, I think. Otherwise, they're going to, at minimum, lose keep, and then they have 3 keeps down. But if they win this shrine, hey, look which lane no longer has a fort.
Do you think Kaiser's a Duran Duran fan?
Do I think Krez... I am not a Duran Duran fan, so I don't know.
I hope he is, because that's too funny.
Is that it? Did I miss a reference? I'm too young for this.
Hungry like a wolf.
Oh. Fair enough. But in the meantime, though, no real invade onto his camp, and we're getting into it's too late territory. As Arthas steps in, root onto Lunara. Good quick cleanse there, trying to get the tongue. No, tongue is missed, and Lunara just starts shelling out that damage. Storm Shield down from the Rhaegar, 20's picked up. Divine Shield onto the Greymane while he's at full health, just trying to enable, but the Greymane gets turned around on and blown up, and this is a 5v4. This is the chance they're looking for. And Anubarak now getting rooted. Ancestral going to come down. Keep the Arthas up. Anubarak goes down. Mathael goes down. And they are on the chase. Gust coming in. Are they going to get the Lunara? No, there is no Gust. It is missed. And Lunara says, hey, thanks for the assist, Falstad. But in the meantime, Anubarak goes down. But they need to go back and clear this shrine if they're going to do it. Because with only 4 needed, Lunara could walk in and get those. So they need to send someone back to clear that now. They have to keep an eye. Luckily, the lanes were pushed out a bit, but mid, you're going to see 2 catapults, potentially 3 getting onto core here. And with only 4 skull minions needed, Lunara scouting with that wisp, just trying to look for an opportunity to poke in. But I think they're playing this smart. I think they're not going to go for it. They're going to say, all right, we trust our team fight. We can give up this Punisher. Let's just not do whatever we've done in 2 of the last 3 team fights. And it's a Mortar Punisher. So, not the strongest, certainly not the strongest in a team fight. Dahaka going to have to burrow in, but already 3 catapults on top. He's going to have to clear those first. And, you know, the bushes here on bot lane, not super, super close, but they're there. Big cocktail over the wall as John Cena jumps in. They're just starting to shell damage into him. But Greymane gets targeted out. Great cleanse by the Uther to keep him alive. All ultimates are up here. Except for Ancestral is up in 4. Army of the Dead is blown. Adaptation also going to be down. This keep is going down. And here it is. This is all or nothing. You have to do or die here. And this is going to come down to whether this fight is won. Anubarak with a huge stun. Mighty Gust. Peeling them out. Storm Shield not going to keep Crazy Ivan alive, but the Ancestral is. But Czar Salesman is so low, he's not going to be able to sustain longer. But already 2 deaths on the side of... Oh my goodness, I can't keep it up with all. Zul'jin and Juice is actually dropping here, and John Cena did some work. Wow.
That was a full 6-man fight there. Absolutely full 6-man fight, and we are going to get the dream of map number 3. That was just an insane amount of play, fighting underneath the Punisher at all points, and the 2 survivability cooldowns for the 2 frontliners of Insomniacs were down, but despite that, just not quite enough follow-up damage on the targets that were focused by Kurt Dog on the Malthael, and I think that's really where it fell apart in both of those last 2 engagements for Zul'jin and Juice.
The last 4 fights, in my opinion, all of them came down to Rhaegar. And the one they lost came down to Rhaegar diving in, and the 3 they won came down to perfect Ancestrals, well-timed heals, great slow totems, and really good enabling lightning shields. Rhaegar in that last fight under the core, people were just about to die on a lot of them. Perfect Ancestral on Vala sends her from inches away from death, gonna die in microseconds to poison, to full health, and wiping Zul'jin and Juice, and what a great job by Insomniacs. You know, they got a little bit lucky. They got the 50% shrine on the bot lane, but goodness did they capitalize.
Absolutely, and that was just really strong presence and mental fortitude to understand that they were down. They were about to be eliminated from the semifinals, and they came back. They took the opportunities that were given to them, and that's exactly what they needed to be able to come back in the series. And, you know, as we talked about before the map, they needed to be able to get kills and win team fights to be able to progress in this series, and they ultimately did that. So we're going to be able to see it a number third map. So I mean, that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, and just a good game. I mean, dominant from Zul'jin and Juice, and I was really at a point where I'm like, here we go again, boys. But Insomniacs just managed to stay in and stay in and stay in. And finally, they got that lucky break. They got the shrine in the best lane for them, and boy, did they capitalize. And you know what? This is a fucking series, boys. This
It
is a
is
fucking
indeed.
series. And fate's gonna be decided on Towers of Doom. If you like late game comebacks, this is the map for them.
Absolutely, I'm excited. I am so excited. I need to go to the bathroom because if I don't, it's going to be bad news bears.
All right, we're gonna take a very, very brief beef bake. We're gonna take a brief break to bake some beef, and we will be right back with the draft. And we are back heading into the draft. Game 3, Towers of Zune. Zul'jin and Juice with only their second loss of the season, coming off the heels of just a fantastic late game Punisher push by Insomniac. They were down 2 keeps, but did not give a fuck as they pushed in, took a winning fight off the bloody knuckles of John Cena. So, here we are, Towers of Doom. Very much a change of pace map here. Um, you know, a much, much smaller map, much more vertical map. We're going to see if the globals that Insomniacs was able to use to great effect are going to be banned out here, or if they're going to be able to pick them up. Once again, first pick going over to Insomniacs.
I definitely like this map for the type of play that Insomniacs do so well. Is that the micro positioning play, as well as trying to get just some great flanks on a lot of different choke points. And Garrosh being banned pretty early by Insomniacs really kind of tells that that's the style of play they want, because Garrosh punishes it so heavily.
Yep. Well, they saw enough of Garrosh in the first game, and they don't even want to tempt those waters again. Once again, a pretty rigid adherence to the Diablo ban. They are hesitating a bit. We might see a change of pace, but we'll see what happens. And there is, in fact, the Diablo ban. So, do you grab the Dahaka here, or do you maybe look at the Anubarak? They are not worried about the Anubarak. They're going to go into the Dahaka.
I definitely like that choice. This map in particular really lends itself to that kind of style. There's so much brush that you can use for quick flanks, and there's so much that relies on being close to those altars that where bushes are available. So Docker really gains his value, especially with enhanced agility at level 1. It's really hard to play against, and we're going to be able to see Unaverted on that Ariel once again. I'm excited.
I can't wait. I got to tell you, his Ariel in the first game was just damned inspiring. A little bit of a squishier battery this time. There was no true battery, or more, I should say, traditional battery in that first game, but he didn't need it. He was doing really good hat swapping, but this time, kind of taking the mental load off. Gonna have that Vala be his fire and forget hope battery. But now, turning around, we're gonna get a Greymane. And I would like to see a Tyrael.
I would too. I still think Tyrael would have been a better choice over Arthas last game, but I mean they did make it work.
They definitely made it work. They are going to go back to the Rhaegar. They liked their play on that on the last map. Rhaegar does pair well with the Greymane. Definitely, if they can still get Tyrael, it's going to be pretty strong. Yeah, this is not good production value. Don't worry. I found out I was doing this cast about 5 minutes before I started in GG. Thank you though for coming in.
And we're going to see a Stitches ban on the opposite sides. Stitches is another one of those tanks that Insomniacs likes to run on certain maps, especially ones that are kind of poke heavy. We're able to get a lot of value out of the hooks and then also out of the Putrid Bile as well, in terms of zoning certain portions of the map off. I'm surprised to see Stukov hasn't made an appearance on this map. He's such a great asset on this particular map with zoning certain sites for rotation, as well as limiting the sappers themselves on those bell towers. So it's I don't want to say it's a misplay, but I almost wish that we would have seen a higher prioritization on him, especially with Stitches taken off the table.
Yeah, it's interesting, but we are going to see Alarak Muradin, so tons of chances to just pick someone and blow them up. You know, especially with the potential follow-up stun from Ariel. Just lure someone to a dark alley and let Alarak go to town on them. Sounds like my average Friday. Let's see if it's going to be Insomniac's average Friday.
I like that. Both Kurt Dog and Ben play Alarak extremely well, and I would anticipate that we're going to see Kurt Dog playing at this particular iteration because they already have the Vala and the Muradin picked up. So I'm excited to see what their last pick's going to be to round it out. I'm not surprised that they left themselves the availability to go with some sort of a bruiser. Sonya still being on the table, and Waldo needs to have a pick as well. He hasn't really gotten one that really kind of spells his choice. I think Vala most definitely would either be his or perhaps Ben's.
And here comes the Anubarak Faustad. They liked what they got out of Faustad. Once again, the double global. I think that's going to be critical for Insomniacs. They use that to stay in the game, XP-wise. And the Anubarak's going to give them a chance to dive onto a target. But Brightwing coming out. So the double support, lot of potential to just pick one target and kill them. If someone gets stunned by Ariel into a wall, the follow-up that's there, I mean, there's no way someone's getting out.
Absolutely. And then Critterize at 16 from Brightwing is going to enable so much for the amount of collapse that they need onto a specific target, and that blow potential is only going to skyrocket from there.
Well, we are going to jump into Towers of Doom here. Bear with me. Thank you for pointing out that the stream title was incorrect. Once again, apologies for the fly-by-night operation here. One day I'll do a stream that I plan more than 3 minutes in advance.
Maybe one
But
day.
today is not that day.
Yeah, for all of those who are curious, I brought Smiley into this last second. I was casting this game well ahead of time, but my casting partner backed out, and I've been having a little bit of internet trouble, so casting is just not really in the cards for me at the moment. But we're in on Towers of Doom, map number 3. Both teams tied 1-1 in this best of 3 series, and in the red trunks, we have Ben handling Brightwing this iteration, Turtle on Meriden, Kurt Dog on the Alarak, Waldo playing Vala, and Unaverted once again on his Ariel.
And in the blue trunks, we have Blings once again on the foul side. Crazy Ivan going to be on the Greymane. Kaiser once again on the Rhaegar. Zarl Salesman going to be on the Anubrak. And Turambar once again on Dahaka. So 3 of the same picks from the last game. We'll see if that comfort can lead them to victory. Cannot wait to see the plays that Kirk Dog makes on this Alarak, though. No lie.
Oh, he's just insane on it, and already getting a good combination onto Zarl Salesman.
But Vala a little bit out in front. Gonna be able to vault out, no problem. Good counter stun onto the Haka. Tough angle, but he hit it. And, oh my goodness. Like I said, if they catch someone, that person is dead.
Blow up is real. And I like this, though. They have the double support, but we're still seeing sustaining power from Alarak, third win from Muradin, and then that increased range from Unfurled Spray by Ben. It's going to allow for them to sustain in these fights a heck of a lot longer than Rhaegar is going to be able to. Mm-hmm. So as long as they get past, for instance, adaptation from Dahaka, and then get past that initial burst that is on the table for Insomniacs, they're going to be able to out-sustain these fights a heck of a lot longer and ultimately win them in the long game. And
good pings by Kurt Dog's team to tell him, hey buddy, get the fuck out. And while they're over pursuing for that chase, this Trinity is just going to town on bottom. The unfurling spray tells me that Zul'jin and Juice has every intention of winning this fight, not by doing anything fancy, but just by beating the other team in team fights. Normally, you would see like a hyper shift, especially on this map where the globals can be valuable, but they're just committing to the team fight. But a huge rotation, and clearly not ready for it. Fantastic tongue by Unaverted. And he is going to go down, but both globals were blown to get down here. Did they just give Alarak the channel? Muradin positioning extremely well, but actually Dahaka did not blow his global to get down and did burrow up, so Muradin not going to be able to stop the rotation. Bot Shrine channeled by Insomniacs. They take the early lead. From here, I think you're just going to see a trade out. Alarak may be thinking about interrupting, but the rotation's coming in. Alarak not in the best spot, but the collapse is coming by Zul'jin and Juice. Great turnaround silence. Alarak gonna get the blink to stay up. Polymorph on the Anubrak. Anubrak gets out with 3 HP. Is the Stormbolt gonna connect? Oh my goodness, he split the uprights, but did not get the kill there. Very, very solid attempt by Burger. And good disengage. Good disengage by Insomniacs as they go back to trying to catch up a bit on XP. They're ahead on the scoreboard, but behind on the XP.
And this is definitely a map that relies more about more on the XP. Like post Alter Phase 5, you're gonna see that the XP is really gonna be what's dictating the pace. And as long as you're surviving, trading some towers up until then, that's where you're gonna see you just kind of win those fights handedly. And with almost a full level lead at this point, going over to Zul'jin and Juice, despite that early pick on Unaverted, I mean, they're really not seeing any sort of an advantage on the side of Insomniacs.
Yep, and already seeing once again that strong Trinity in the bottom. Siege Camp going to be picked up, trying to relieve some of this pressure as the 3-man rotation comes down, leaving a Nubarak and Muradin kind of poking back and forth at each other. Nubarak looking at rotating down. It's been seen. Zul'jin and Juice not going to bite. And Muradin just says, you know what? Let's just take the Soak Boys. Backs off. No one really wanted to commit to a fight. Couple strong early pickoffs, I think, gave both teams maybe a little bit of nerves. This is Game 3. Your playoff life is on the line no matter who you are. And Turambar, though, is he going to be able to get away here? Alarak just absolutely comboed the ever-loving hell out of him, but he does walk away. Station comes up mid to push Muradin off the towers. No kill there. leaving Greymane alone to try to poke out this shrine. But they got 10 seconds for the rotation. Should be able to get there, but Rhaegar right now rotating up towards the top. Maybe thinking of trading out for Giants. A little bit of indecision here by Insomniacs.
Yeah, they're down level 7s at this point, and so all our salesman really wants to do is just stall, but he's in a really bad spot to do so, and the altar, I think they've just given it up at this point. And I want to just highlight, we have Searing Light and then Repeated Defense picked by Unaverted on the Ariel, so going for that burst damage that allows him to generate a lot more hope for himself, and that's what really allowed him in the first game to also generate a lot of hope and get a lot of value outside of having a hard battery. And I mean, he did a huge amount of hero damage in that game, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out in terms of his healing and damage numbers in this game as well.
And a double global rotation onto the Alarak. Brightwing going to come up, but the camp picked up. Looks like Insomniacs is just going to back off, rotate into their bot camp, using that Rhaegar double shield. Meanwhile, though, Ariel going to rotate right past this. Now looking in for a smell. By herself a bit. Not too far away from Vala, though. And with that full hope, you can be a bit aggressive because you know you're going to be able to heal up pretty nicely. I like the patience to hold on to this until it's needed.
Absolutely. And we do have a full multi-shot build coming out for Waldo on the Vala, so looking at a lot more lane clear, a lot more poke damage that's going to be able to generate a lot of hope for Unaverted as well.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of AoE damage on the part of Zul'jin and Juice here. And it's going to just really make it hard for Rhaegar to keep everyone up. Dahak is going to have to get good use of self-sustain, but Greymane and Falstad and Nubarak, they don't have the best self-sustain. Nubarak can have decent self-sustain with the Locust Swarm, but you have to imagine a Cocoon's coming anytime you're facing a Vala. Or anytime you're facing an Ariel, I should say.
Absolutely. I do like that we saw Kaiser at one point healing the Sapper camp that was pushing in the bot lane, trying to keep
Dahak is in a bad spot. Gonna be able to get away. Maybe. No, Vala dives in, not able to get the finish, but Dahak are just gonna have to back off. And Alarak starting that channel. I like having Alarak do that channel because if you get a desperate dive like that to get the interrupt, the turnaround potential is real, but a great interrupt on the Discord strike, but still getting so much value. Our salesman gonna die there, and oh no, this is about to get real ugly. Level 10s are being picked up. Insta-lock, Rain of Vengeance secures the kill on the Rhaegar. And not too many surprising. We actually are seeing Counter-Strike, which I totally expected. I don't know why I said we're actually seeing Counter-Strike. Like, instead of the bad ultimate, we're seeing the good ultimate. Let's see if that pays off for them, Cotton.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Yeah, I like the Rain of Vengeance there. Waldo getting just the tip onto Kaiser.
Yeah, I mean, Insomniacs, though. I gotta tell you this. Even right now, you know, they're down a bit, but they're playing strong. This is nothing like the Tomb of the Spider Queen game. You know, they've gotten a counter kill. They've made good showings in the fight. I think they just need to calm down and make sure that they don't do anything reckless. Let their double globals get them back into this game. And right now, though, Cocoon coming in, trying to force, and double globals are coming in. This is a 5v4, even with the Cocoon broken. Great stun onto a Nubarak to prevent the re-engage. Kaiser getting dove by the Vala. He's going to go down with Murd and Dwarf tossing over the wall. In comes the Gust for the disengage. And wow, when you can win 5v4s and Alarak just doesn't even have to rotate, oh, that's going to set you up really well.
Yeah, that was just purely positioning error on the side of Insomniacs, allowing Kaiser to be caught out, completely separated, and no real collapse onto Waldo to punish him. So it resulted in just such a good 5v4 where Ariel is going to be able to thrive with that sustained healing.
Yeah, and recognizing that they got the kill on the healer, that there's really no self-sustain on the other team, they just say, you know what, yeah, it's 4v4. We're also going to take your fort anyway. And, Zul'jin starting to put the boot to the neck a little bit. Time is running out for Insomniacs to turn this around.
Yeah, 13s are on the horizon here pretty shortly. 32-24 is the core health lead at the moment, and we've got double alter phase activating in about 30 seconds. It's plenty of time to pick up 13s. I would not be surprised at this point if we saw Zul'jin and Juice go for both of these altars. It's definitely something that they have in their wheelhouse.
And Muradin's scouting out the invade. He's going to step onto the point. Brightwing comes in to commit to this. Gust used to secure a Sappers or to disengage. Either way, it's a big tax.
It's 50 seconds before it's up, and that's one of your big get out of jail free cards, and it's down now.
And Brightwing going for the back cap, but the Cocoon the Cocoon there went on to the Alarak, which is an interesting target. Aegis there on the Vala. Rain of Vengeance comes up out of the Aegis. So much damage as the Polymorph securing the kill. Both warriors are down. Rhaegar is going to get away with a great chase by Waldo, and this is just starting to turn into mathematics. Greymane tries to turn around there. I don't know if he just couldn't get away or if he was just trying to out-trade, but either way, that is 5v4, and that's not just going to be 5 shots. That's going to be 10 shots. That's going to be 14 shots. And,
glad you are a professor, because I can't math.
No. Already 10 to 32. This is starting to get ugly, and now I mean, if this keeps up, we're looking at danger of maybe even a 6 cap. They have to win a fight soon. You know, they're getting the engagements they want. They're getting situations that are advantageous, but when it comes down to it, Zul'jin and Juice is just fighting a lot better.
Yeah, I have to give it up. I mean, he's just allowing his team to sustain for so long and doing a great amount of damage himself as well. I mean, looking at damage right now, he's done 14,000 hero damage, which is pretty similar to Muradin as well, a little bit ahead, in fact. And so he's being really impactful in these fights, and he's done almost twice the healing of Rhaegar and twice the damage as well. So, I mean, he's showing how impactful a solid Ariel player can be in these kinds of fights.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes. But this is the 3 shrine phase. There is lethal potential here for Zul'jin and Juice. They can either cap all 3, or they can win a team fight, kill a keep, and then cap 2. So this is Insomniacs. They have to survive this phase somehow. You really want to see a 2 cap. Brightwing already in position to get the cap and to global in. And Falstad, the flight distance, it's not going to be long enough to get him to bot right away. Whereas Brightwing can just blink in. So going to be a slight advantage there. Cleanse used to get the Anubarak out. Discord Strike interrupted there by Dahaka, but he's going to drop to just a ton of damage from the Vala. Ancestral Blown to try to get Anubarak to re-engage. Great Aegis, though, to keep Vala up. There's the cleanse. Vala going to be able to walk away and then turn around. And this could be the game. I don't see Anubarak getting out of here. He might. Yep, there's the burrow charge, but oh, what a good telekinesis.
Yeah, this is going to be that bottom tower going as well, but it's just going to be 4 shots, so 2 core health going to be remaining.
1 core health. No, they finished the channel. I thought they would finish the fort first, but it is going to be 2 core health. But that opens up Siege Giants on bottom. That makes boss lethal. This is just really not a good position for Insomniacs.
Absolutely. With 10 seconds left on Anubarak coming up, there's so much win potential at this point, and Insomniacs need to just full defend here. This is turtle mode and activated in its full effect. Yep. I mean, with so many win conditions, Zul'jin and Juice really have to fuck up hard to be able to lose this game.
Yep, and they get the top camp to try to create some kind of pressure, just trying to get something to force Zul'jin off this hyper-aggression. But in comes Muradin, misses the Storm Bolt, so not really going to get the follow-up they want, but there are going to be 6 sappers pushing this lane, and if 1/3 of them can cross the line, that's going to be it. Anubarak gets a good separation on the Vala with the burrow charge, but in the tight space again, 3-man Rain of Vengeance. Alarak with the counter-strike, gonna get the kill onto Greymane. Dahaka falls, down goes Anubarak off the polymorph. The Gust is just stalling the inevitable. There's no way these sappers don't cross the line. There they go, GG, as Zul'jin and Juice, they drop a map, only their second map of the season, but they will still go on to face Ready Button in the Division B Finals. And that will be on Sunday, September 10th. I believe Division B Finals are slated to start at 2 p.m. Pacific. So look out for that. You'll have a better caster, and hopefully one who's more prepared for that. But congratulations to Zul'jin and Juice, and you got to give it up to INSOMNIACS. I looked at the standings before the set and saw that they were near the bottom of the division, but it looks like they really showed up in the playoffs, and they're definitely